the people's choice.
Good evening, Trey.
My man, Ryan. How are you doing today?
I'm good. We always ask each other how we are. Have you noticed that? Like
We do.
But everybody does. I don't know. I forget where that was. There was like a sitcom that made fun of it, and it's so true. It's like everywhere you go, you walk by, and it's like, "Hey, how are you? How you doing?
Good. How are things?"
things?
And then it goes awkward silence.
Yeah, and then it's like, all right. So, I mean, I think it was George Carlin or Dennis Leary or a good old school comedian that said, "You know what? I just want to tell somebody. You know what? Would you really like to know about my fucking day?" And you just tell them, like, all right, here's what's going on. I'm worried about my bills. I'm this. My wife's cheating. Like, things are not good. But that's interesting. The other day, I said it to like 6 people in the span of a minute, and I was like, okay, what do I really want to know?
Do you really? I've honestly told people, I said, listen, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask me.
There you go.
You know, because I will tell you the truth.
Well, with you, I care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could care less about that random person walking.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm going to give back. There are days when I care about that random person. I'm just in a good mood, and they look like they might need somebody to care.
I'm about to come over there and give you a big old hug.
We're starting out sentimental.
Yes, we are.
Well, I'm going to change that really quick. I was told again, Trey, that I have a problem interrupting people when I talk.
Really?
Yes.
So people are actually listening then. That's good.
That is actually a good sign that people are listening to the show. This person is actually now involved, as you know. You didn't know that she said that, but you know this person is involved with the show. She's kind of taken a position, if you will.
Yeah?
I asked her what she wanted her title to be with the company. Or we are a company now, by the way. And she said HBIC, and I said, what is that? I don't even know what that means.
You don't know what that means?
No.
Oh, okay.
You do?
Yes. Because that's what my ex used to always reference to. So.
Well, I hate that I didn't know it, and I Googled it really fast because I was on the phone. I Googled it. I'm like, no,
Did
that's
it actually
not.
Come out?
Yeah, it came up. I'm like, that's not what you are. So anybody that doesn't know,
I like that.
Trey, go ahead and say what it is.
Can I be the HBIC too?
You already just
second in
you're
command.
Just HB.
I'm just not in charge.
You're just the head bitch in charge. Yeah, but that's
awesome. She fits in already.
She's going to be like a liaison, like a social media marketing liaison for us.
How do you say that again?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
She is going to do good things for us.
Okay.
But the first thing she said when we tried to discuss some things was that I interrupt a lot. She goes, boy, you really do interrupt a lot. I said, all right, look, answer my questions and I won't interrupt you.
I might have texted her on the side to make sure she discusses that with you.
I don't know if she actually needs your text, but she likes to.
She's good to go.
Yeah, she doesn't mess around. She's got me doing like homework and like projects and all kinds of stuff to get us rolling here, and that's what I want. That's what I need, right?
Well, we need somebody to crack the whip on us sometimes, you know.
What? And she's doing just that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have her on board, and she
needs to come on the show and talk.
Don't worry, I've already got that going.
Nice.
She's fighting me on it a little bit, but
okay.
I think deep down you can just hear she's like, okay.
She wants to go.
Yeah, we got into it about my opinion about vegans.
Oh, yeah?
She said I should make an apology.
Vegans is dumb.
Because I was isolating some of our listeners, possibly.
Really?
I said, come on. any vegan listeners that we have, I apologize.
Come have a burger with us.
Come to the steakhouse and order a salad. That's fine. But all of you should know, if you're legitimate vegans listening, this is in jest. I don't have to like the idea of veganism for us to get along. Fair enough?
Don't cows eat grass and stuff like that? So it doesn't technically...
That's deep shit right there.
You know?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they look at it that way. I think it's a lot of them. It's the treatment of the animals, not necessarily the nutrition.
And I treat them well.
Yeah,
you know, put some ketchup, some cheese.
Cheese on a steak.
I'm not a steak, but I'm thinking about a burger.
It just sounds.
Steak sounds good though.
I was visualizing you with a steak and like a slice of American. It just didn't work.
I mean, I treat that steak well.
Anyway, so we argued about that. So she's going to be a thorn in our side in a good way, in the best way. So
nice. I can't wait to meet her.
To that, yeah. Apologies. Not really an apology. I'd like to touch base on the discussion we had about business across the sea, if you will.
Okay. We've got business across the sea?
Hopefully we do soon.
One day?
With the Okoro. I haven't heard from him in a little while.
He has gone radio silent, hasn't he?
He might be out there getting things set up for us.
I hope so.
At base camp. Because
there
has to be a base camp wherever we go.
Camp.
Everywhere we go. Do you have a base camp?
I don't know why I'm thinking Jurassic Park with that. Yeah, I've got a blanket over my couch.
Let's go there. I want to go to Jurassic.
Jurassic Park would be cool.
Apparently I was researching, and English, Trey, did you know English is actually...
I do know English.
As actually, some would argue that English has actually become the international business language. Like when I researched, company meetings between what that listener gave us, specifically Japan and France, it came up that 90% of those meetings were in English.
Nice.
I love how proud we are. That. We're not. We're not any original home base for any language.
Now, is it our English, like redneck English, or proper English?
I very seriously doubt it is our English.
No.
But I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to clarify that I didn't know the answer to that, but now I do. And it came out on our side, I think.
I think it did.
Yeah, good.
Which side is that?
The English side.
Oh.
Pro-English. How about this? You might get a kick out of this. Real quick, we're going to go over the dating terms that I so did not know last episode.
More dating terms. I like it. This will be fun.
No, we talked about ghosting. I mean, everyone knows what ghosting is.
Ghosting is, yes.
And you remember this. We tried to talk about these words, but I didn't know what half of them were, and I thought you might. But it turns out you did not.
Pretty stupid with this stuff. Yeah.
So I decided to dig a little deeper.
Oh, nice.
And so there's something called haunting.
Haunting?
So after ghosting, apparently there's an order of operations here. And after ghosting comes haunting.
Interesting.
And they're saying that some people that ghost a potential partner will just pop back up without warning or explanation. And that's like haunting. It's not direct. It's not like a text or phone call. It's like subtle.
So it's called desperate.
It's like social media, like everyone, like, oh, like you like something, and they'll go, oh, why did he like this? And then all of a sudden, there you are. Oh, hi. That's haunting.
You know what that means, right?
No.
They're desperate. They're lonely. They're like, you know what? I'll settle for this now.
They're haunting. That's right. They're haunting. So that's haunting. Submarining. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of it?
Usually that's not on the first date. You got to wait for that one.
I guess it kind of has that feel to it, if you will. Submarining is similar to haunting, but instead of being subtle, it's basically like they resurface completely like a submarine.
Interesting.
Like when it comes out of the water, like boom, there it is.
Here I go.
So
like you show up outside their door, or
right. So here I am. It's
tapping
like,
on the window.
You reach out like nothing ever happened.
Gotcha.
Here's a text like, "Hey, what's up? You want to meet up?" And the person's like 2 months ago, you basically ghosted me.
It's like 1:00 at night. What are you up to?
Right. I'm submarining you. So next on the list, I'm flying through here because we have so much great content to get to this evening.
I want a T-shirt that says that. I'm submarining you.
We could do all these. Next week, we could do I'm zombieing you.
Okay,
Remember,
yeah.
That was one in question, correct?
It didn't have any details, didn't it?
No, it didn't. This one does.
Nice.
So we've learned, I love how it says we've learned thus far that ghosts can haunt and submarine
Okay.
And finally, they can also zombie. So a zombie is somebody that pops back into someone's life months or even years past the original ghosting and tries to reestablish a connection. So they might fool you into thinking like, hey, I've changed. I didn't mean to do it, but don't fall for it. Because that's what zombieing is. It's like this long... I don't know if I thought I was maybe expecting something else with that. What about you?
I did.
I feel like that one's a little disappointing.
That's kind of disappointing.
So we'll move on.
That's kind of like you're sitting there on a Saturday night, lonely, and you look through your phone and it's like, oh, I remember this chick. And you reach out to them, see what they're up to.
But couldn't that be submarining too?
It depends on how long it is.
Well, that's true. So zombieing is like way long.
Way long, I guess.
Okay, okay. I feel that. I've never done that, but I feel that.
I've done that before.
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, like what's this girl from 10 years ago doing? And
like, who is this on my phone?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about it in 9 years. How long have I been with my wife? But the next one is called the next one's called orbiting.
Orbiting? What the?
Orbiting is the new ghosting. Apparently.
So like if you're bouncing around the room naked, or
so the way social media is, they're saying it's rare that someone will like completely disappear forever. So instead, they will likely orbit your world of social media, constantly monitoring you, which sounds creepy.
It does sound creepy.
It's basically persistent lurking, but without ever engaging in conversation or any attempts at connection. So that's weird.
Point?
So that's just creepy. That's not even like coming back in someone's life. That's just checking them out.
Well, what's the point either, you know?
I don't know. Maybe looking for an opening?
Huh.
Well, it actually continues on.
Okay.
I did
It's
see
interesting.
That. So you see them watching, and after a while you might wonder, so I don't know, maybe you see a like or here or there, you see something or whatever, but there's no explanation. Maybe they think the unfollow button is too harsh of a punishment, or so you'll never know unless they actually come back. You're not going to reach out, that kind of thing. So I don't know. The orbiting thing is a little...
Sounds dumb.
Yeah, that's more like creeping.
Yeah.
And that if I saw somebody orbiting me, I would probably reach out after a little while. But anyway, or I would delete them.
What is it called if you go look at old high school girlfriends just to see how fat they got?
I don't know yet because we still have 4 terms left.
Okay, so it might fall into one of these.
It may fall into it, or we can come up with one.
Okay.
So write us at Trey at podcast.com and let us know if you have a good term for, what is it again, Trey?
So looking at old high school girlfriends, to how big they got or how ugly they got.
In hopes to get with them?
No. Just to laugh.
Just to laugh. Okay. Yeah. Girls that maybe were a bitch to you or something like that.
There you go.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay.
So not necessarily girlfriends, but the popular ones that got ugly.
This next one is one we said and you laughed. Breadcrumbing.
Breadcrumbing. Breadcrumb, like to get them to shut up, throw some breadcrumbs at them.
I don't think that's it. Breadcrumbing apparently is from an old German fairy tale, which we've all heard of, Hansel and Gretel.
Right.
It describes the act of leaving breadcrumbs that may lead someone to believe you like them in the form of texts, calls, general social media. It's just enough to keep them interested.
So like an unsolicited dick pic?
I
breadcrumb?
I think there's a more literal term for that. It's not breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is a little bit more subtle, if I had to guess.
Okay.
So it's just a trail of breadcrumbs. Like comes towards me, but you're never going to actually get to the prize. Is what they're saying.
Well, that's dumb.
It's often a trail to nowhere. It says a breadcrumber will. There's a term. A breadcrumber will play games, avoid words and gestures of genuine intent, and never fully lead you down the path towards a real relationship. So, breadcrumber equals bad.
Bad.
Benching we talked about last time, so I won't go into that.
Yeah.
Benching is keeping somebody on the roster, but on the bench because they're not quite up to first team standards or starters, if you will.
Right, I've done that one.
I'm sure you have. There's the next one is called situationship.
Situationship.
A situationship involves 2 people entering a romantic relationship out of convenience or due to circumstance outside of genuine interest. So,
Is that like a friends with benefits?
like
Sounds
friends with benefits, like if you're living close together, like say you're in the same apartment complex, well, that's a situationship. You're not really into each other, but because of this, like, why not?
You have the needs.
Right. The needs. Sure. Lastly is something called the slow fade, which I think is probably pretty self-explanatory. If ghosting is an abrupt end, the slow fade is a death by 1,000 cuts, is what this describes it as. It happens over time. It involves one person slowly pulling away. That just sounds like a relationship sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds like my marriage.
Right. So you got slowly faded.
Yeah, I did.
So those are the 9
Those are interesting.
terms. I thought that was pretty interesting. And once I saw this, I said, all right, let's kind of go back and readdress it, because it wasn't a very good, we didn't give you much knowledge
Right.
about the terms.
Now you have knowledge. Enjoy
Now you
your
have
dating
knowledge.
world.
Now you can say, you know what? I breadcrumbed that girl. Or ladies, you can be like, okay,
I just throwing
I'm gonna
breadcrumbs at a
submarine.
woman at a restaurant.
I'm
Breadcrumbing you.
Yeah.
No?
I just can't see that going well.
That's pretty funny, though.
But yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff.
I could laugh at
I
that.
thought you might enjoy that.
Thank you.
Next, I'm just kind of bouncing around one by one, if you're okay with that for a second, before we get into the meat of the show.
It's your show, right?
No, it's both of our shows.
It's your world.
That could be
Just a
true.
squirrel.
There is something that a listener showed to me on video that was really weird and messed up, and I had no idea this was happening across the world.
Ooh, what kind of video is this?
It did sound like that, didn't it? No, it wasn't that kind. Don't get your hopes up, audience. The listeners were hoping for another Trey story
Right.
with videos and laptops, etc.
2 women, 1 cup.
2 women. So apparently in the country of India, where we don't have a listener yet, by the way, we have one in Sri Lanka, which is right next to India.
Of course we do.
I mean, we're probably going to be big in Sri Lanka. In India, there are like 18 billion people there. In fact, again, this is one of those things I'll apologize for next show. I'm going to try and do it while I'm talking and delay. The population of India, Trey,
Is 8 gazillion
that is exactly it. It is actually 1.4 billion people
with a B.
with a B.
Nice.
It's kind of like, China has billion and India has billion. And
Good job.
Yeah. And so that's a lot of people. So the trains over there were built a long time ago when there weren't 1.4 billion people. And those are I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of India that's not very wealthy.
I did not.
And the train system there is what they use, like a lot of places, to get to and from work and to and from social engagements and so on and so on.
Like a subway.
Like a subway, except above the ground.
Above the ground subway.
So I was showed this video, and anybody that knows me knows I hate these insects, but it was like cockroaches on a big moving Subway sandwich.
Wow.
They literally will ride these trains on the outside, on the top, together, shoulder to shoulder, on the outside of the trains. It's
Holy
not like
shit.
one and then 6 feet later is another one. They are literally on the top, like huddling together, trying to I guess the wind doesn't knock them off or something. And so it's just so weird to look at. And we're going to post a video of this on our social media because you need to see this. It's just something that put things in perspective for me. There are 15,000 deaths a year in a country of 1 billion. That might not sound like a lot, but just from falling off of a train.
That's a dedication.
I guarantee you that our country is nowhere near that, falling off of a train.
I know people that won't go to work if they have a headache.
Right? Or people that have to have their own car.
There you go.
That one of the HOV.
Wow.
They can't take the HOV lane.
Right?
Much less having to take a train every day and hope you survive. People are falling off. I mean, so you may deal with about 10 minutes of traffic, extra traffic. Oh, somebody, what a dumbass. They got into a fender bender and now I'm delayed. Well, there are people in India that had literally fall off their vehicle and die.
That's crazy.
So let's just think about that on the next time you're going to work and you're a little bit uncomfortable.
A little perspective right
A little
there.
uncomfortable, yeah. I thought that was interesting. So we're going to post that because you have to see this. It's pretty crazy.
Can't wait to see this. I want to know how much they get paid to where they take their life in their hands
Yeah, it's probably not very much.
To possibly die, and that's there and back. So it's not just a one shot at it.
Twice
you
a day.
You got to come back.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's time to get off. Most people are like, oh man, 5 o'clock, time to go home. And you're like, oh shit.
Is it my time?
Like, which part of the train do I get on? Am I going to be
Call
okay?
all your family members before you jump on the train. I'm coming
about
home.
to head home.
I love you.
I love you. I
My
hope
God.
Don't make too much extra dinner.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Wow.
So I thought that was interesting. So those are the beginning parts of tonight. I wanted to go over some of those stories. Before we go any further with the meat of our show, I wanted to tell you about a story that is a little more fun than the Indian people dying
Thank God.
going to work.
I was starting to cry over
Well,
here.
it is, but it isn't. It's still kind of a scary tale. Did you know that off the coast of Spain and Portugal, over there off the coast, meaning in the ocean, there are killer whales, also known as orcas,
Okay.
that are attacking boats
Oh, no shit.
with a purpose. It's been studied by the researchers of these animals, and they're not just accidentally. They're like coordinating, and one of them was 6 orcas that were attacking a boat together. One was 3 of them. And apparently on a multiple quote unquote attacks, it's the same adult female orca that's leading the charge. And this is what they said. This is what they said. I couldn't possibly make this up.
Come on, lady orcas.
This is what they're saying. They call them interactions, by the way.
Interactions.
Yeah, if I was on that boat, it's a little more than an interaction.
Get the shotguns out.
This guy's coming at us, or this lady, excuse me. This lady's coming at us.
This bitch of an orca.
This recent one was a 66-foot boat, which is not massive, but it's definitely not small.
Right.
And it was 3 orcas. And, an orca, Trey, I don't know if you know, it can get up to 8 meters, which is 24 feet, if I'm doing my math correctly. 3 feet per meter, correct, I believe.
I don't know.
No, that's 3 foot per yard.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to leave that so that I can take my
So we can apologize.
my embarrassment.
It's big.
It's big. It's a big boy. 6 tons, I know, is 12,000 pounds. That's 2,000 pounds per ton. Please be right.
We'll have a fact checker check into
a fact
that.
checker will we'll check it.
I'm sure he's texting us right now.
Either way, these are big boys and girls, and what they're saying about this one female is that
She's pissed.
she was traumatized by some form of human interaction previously. So whether she was something, maybe she ran into a fishing net that she couldn't, it took her a while to get out of, or whether she was speared.
How the hell would she? How the hell would we know that? I mean,
but that's the point is that they're
find
studying
therapist
her
notes or something.
They're studying her behavior and her pattern, and this is what they've come up with. Trey, these are scientists, all right?
Okay. Well, if it's scientists,
everything
then it must
that
be
they
right.
say is correct. But this is what they're saying. So either way, it's great. Okay. So she was and that because she was so traumatized, she could be launching attacks and teaching other orcas to do it.
So she's got an orca gang going on here.
She has orca gang going on here, and what they're saying is that some of the other orcas are intimidating her, and to where she's even more violent. And so she sees a boat, and then the people that are the other orcas that are with her, they just start pounding these boats,
Mocking her.
and so it sounds like there's a whole bullying system going on under the sea. And this orca has now lashed out, similar, not to make light of it, but similar to somebody who lashes out, who got bullied, and they lash out in a really bad way.
Yeah.
Later on. This is chaos. This is just something else. I just can't imagine being on a boat, 66-foot yacht, just kind of like hanging out one day. Just like, and it's not like an accidental bump, or it's not like a shark goes by. You're literally being attacked from all sides from killer whales. And I always thought like Shamu was nice. And I know that they have a mean streak, but they're really smart. They're actually part of the dolphin group. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
See, we teach everything here.
So I learn something new every day.
So they're very intelligent, and now apparently they have organized gangs. They have bullying, they have depression, they have intimidation, and all sorts of traumatized orcas are now coming for us.
Nice.
So I would bet that at least for a little while, the tourism off the coast of Portugal will lower.
Slow down a little bit.
It's actually the Iberian Peninsula, which is the southern part of Spain and the northern part of Africa that leads into the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay.
You're looking at me very confused.
Yeah.
It's a very little
Take a
opening.
quick nap.
It's a little opening comparatively, and as you go into the sea, it's apparently known as Killer Alley Junction or Killer Whale Alley.
Okay.
And they're all in there, and that's why they're whatever. So
stay away from there.
Hashtag pray for the whales or pray for the orcas. And let's get a foundation going for these for this bullied this poor bullied young lady.
Get her some therapy.
I just thought that was funny.
That is crazy.
So that was my story for today. The moral of the story is be on the lookout for killer whales,
right,
in your day-to-day life.
No matter how big your boat is.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, you get enough of those things, and you could be on a 200-footer, and they'll do some damage.
Done.
One of the ones that actually the first ones that were. They had to evacuate it, and it was sinking. It sunk, because they put holes in the thing. And
wow.
They had to go on the escape
dinghies?
boats and stuff. I wouldn't want to get. I mean, obviously, I'd rather get in that than sink with the boat. But it's kind of like if you didn't survive on a 80-foot yacht, how are you going to do on a dinghy against these things?
Now it's like your little treat on a cracker now.
Yeah. I mean, if you looked out, you should just give yourself up.
That's
all right, fine.
appetizer now.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay.
That is good.
All right, my man. I feel like I've talked a ton. The listeners, apparently I interrupt and talk too much. So the listeners want to hear from you.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to discuss. So I came over here Saturday, talk to you, pick up our business
And we were just
cards.
hanging out. Yeah. You came out. Yeah.
And your oldest little man.
Yeah. 3.5.
Decides he wants to walk up to a tree, drop his pants, pee on the tree. Boy had to go.
Yes, and as I've mentioned on the show previously, he is just now about a month in potty trained. So
good job.
He feels like, you know what, I've got to go. As long as I pull my pants down, things are the way they're supposed
ready
to go.
Roll. So it made me think.
No, I don't know how I feel about that.
So we sit there, we laugh. Oh, how cute, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He's going through potty training. It's acceptable for him, right? How acceptable would it be for us if we walked out into your front yard, dropped our pants, peed on a tree?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be okay with that if you did that.
No?
No.
That would kind of freak out.
With guys, we can do it. Well, I'm sorry. With anybody, right? with people with a penis, I don't know. There have apparently been some pretty talented people that don't have a penis that can aim well enough to stand, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a penis, you can go out, say, on the golf course, as long as it's not one that's in a
there you
housing development, and you can use the tree as your backdrop.
There you go.
So that's okay, but not in the neighborhood, in my front yard.
Okay.
Right?
So maybe start thinking about other things that might be acceptable for a 3-year-old, but not acceptable for a 40-year-old.
Interesting.
So
that list is probably long.
So I was sitting there thinking, like you said, your little man's going through potty training. So I'm sitting here before we come in to do our show. He comes out of the bathroom, butt naked. I just pooed.
He does do that.
So I'm sitting there thinking, can you imagine us playing golf? We get up early. We don't get a chance to take that morning poo. We come out of the bathroom, butt naked, all our golfing friends. I just pooed.
Yeah,
pooed. Would that be frowned upon?
It may be frowned upon. I don't know if there are any rules in place. I'm not sure that's ever happened.
Shouldn't try that.
No, I think it's interesting. He gets excited when you come over and he poos. He comes out. He lets you know, Uncle Trey.
I just pooed.
I pooed, and
good job.
I get 10 M&Ms.
Yep.
Well, now he's changed it. He doesn't want M&Ms anymore. He doesn't like M&Ms. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that.
He wants these lollipop things, and so good for him. I mean, if he takes a good poo at night, he gets a lollipop.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. I can't imagine running at any point after taking having a bowel movement and running and letting people know as an adult.
As an adult. Now, what if you're sitting at a nice restaurant?
Oh God.
Food comes out. It's not what you wanted. You were thinking all day,
Right.
I want this type of food. It comes out. It's not good, whatever. Doesn't taste good. Doesn't look good, whatever. You toss the plate in the air.
You just throw
on the ground.
everything.
Just throw it on the ground.
Just take it and
I don't
throw
want
it.
this.
Just throw it. Yeah, throw it at the waiter.
Unacceptable.
That'd be funny.
Cute as a 3-year-old. Or maybe not cute, but
Cute, but it's like, all right, he's
All right,
3.
yeah.
Like, oh, whatever.
what about how they walk up to people and, obviously short, they hug the leg,
Yeah.
Is that unacceptable for an adult to come running up to you, get down on their hands and knees and hug your leg?
But why would you be... Why would you get down on your hands and knees?
I'm just saying.
I mean, maybe, okay.
We're just looking at just different examples.
Yeah, that one would probably not be, that would be frowned upon, at least. By most people. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Someone might be like, okay, I'm okay with it.
And then when they use the restroom, obviously, you drop your pants all the way down to the ankles.
Right.
I mean, how many times do you go to the urinal, drop your pants all the way down to the ankles?
You'd be at a public restroom with a urinal, like at a like a sporting event where there's hundreds of people in the bathroom.
Just drop them all the way down to the ankles.
It's like one of the trough ones where like 8 people line up and you're just sitting there with yours around your ankles.
Yes.
And everyone's just like bare-assed.
Bare-assed.
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, I thought that was a couple of funny ones that,
Well, on a more inappropriate scale, both of my sons the other day, my second is 1.5. And I guess he's just looking up to what his big brother's doing. They were both sitting in the bathtub as the water was draining and just playing with their penises. Just like it was nothing. Just like flicking it, like pulling it. I can't imagine there'd be a time where that would be okay.
We're hanging out in the pool or something, just
sitting there like, hey, it's the other day I went out just flicking our own. You're like, no. It just doesn't seem to me like that would be accepted. So that's a good one.
That is a good one.
But I think that there's a lot here, Trey, and I think what you've brought us tonight is a great a segment. I think we could, listeners.
This could grow.
No pun intended. Listeners, let us know.
Just flicking
Get on, just flicking it, pulling it. They pull it. I'm like, ow! What are you doing? Guys, what's even funnier is listening to me lecture them, because I'm not going to get mad. I mean, they're just exploring, right? But it's me. I'm like, gentlemen, do not tug on your penises. Like it just sounds. It's so official.
You'll be able to do that plenty when you're married.
Or when you're a teenager.
There, that too.
So, but. So let's continue this segment on down the road here, because I feel like now that you've opened this can of worms, I tell you what, listeners, if there's ever a time for you to chime in, this is it. Give me something that my 3.5 or 1.5 kids, babies, toddlers, whatever, can do and get away with that we can't as adults. And I'm talking about adults 18 to 65.
Hopefully our listeners have a sense of humor. I asked my aunt this question in a group chat.
Right.
And she made sure and informed me that if I go out in the front yard and do this, I could end up on the sex offender registry. And I was like, listen, it's just a joke. We're just joking around here, And then on the flip side, my brother-in-law sent me a text because my sister told him what we were asking. And so he sends me a text. He goes, you know what? I'm fed up that my 2-year-old can drink a bottle, pass out in his own drool, and we think it's adorable.
It's pretty cute, yeah.
But if I drink a whole bottle and I pass out in my drool,
right,
I'm considered an alcoholic.
Well, it depends. Is it milk?
Well, yeah, that's true. So,
well, it depends on that. Changes really fast.
A bottle is a bottle.
Yeah, but if he drinks a bottle of soda and he passes out, it's like, oh, he's just tired. But if it's
drool,
but if it's vodka, then all of a sudden he's an alcoholic. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm on his side,
right? So yeah, listeners, hopefully you have a sense of humor with this.
That is funny.
We're just it's just for fun.
Your aunt got real serious, huh?
She gets serious, yeah.
That's hilarious.
So.
But we'll keep this going. So get on our social media and let us know. Just feel free to randomly just say, you know what, guys, here, this is something that you shouldn't do as an adult. That
my kid did this, but you should not.
Yeah, just do it. Because now I feel like you've opened it up, and I could just think of 50 things, but we won't go there.
I have to come up with some good ones.
Yeah, we'll think about it. But that's pretty funny. I like that. That was good. Well, awesome, man. Should we? Do you want to get serious?
I guess.
Well, I wish we could just do a show one night where we just kind of laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. But unfortunately, this world has gotten a little bit insane.
Yeah.
And I wanted to laugh a little bit at this story we're going to talk about. This is our topic of the night, if you will.
Dun, dun, dun.
And anybody can probably guess if you sat down for 2 seconds and said, "What's one of the hottest controversial topics going on right now?" That what's the number one hashtag, if you will? And Trey, do you know what that is?
I do not.
I bet you do. What is one business right now that's under fire for selling things?
Bud Light.
That was so last month.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Or maybe
Target.
Target, correct. So Target, we're going to talk about Target. And everybody's either going, "Oh, here we go again," or, "Wow, I want to hear what these guys think about Target." Because we do try and stay in the gray, if you will.
I do buy my nuts from Target.
Yeah. Wait, is that big bag that you always haul around everywhere?
My bag of
nuts. Now,
nuts.
does it come mixed, or is it?
No.
Do you have to? You mix it yourself?
Yeah.
So you buy a bag of. You buy a bag of every
three
nut.
separate types of nuts, and I mix them myself.
That sounds like an incredible waste of time.
Yeah. Well,
there's got to be a product that mixes them already, like a company.
I didn't.
Well, then what are we doing a podcast?
I like the salty, different types of salty flavors in my mouth.
Take it easy.
So.
Take it easy. What I'm suggesting now, rather than thinking of salty nuts, is that we come up with a product that is basically your bag of nuts that you bring over that I see you with all the time.
Pre-mixed?
That are already pre-mixed and pre-salted.
That would be awesome.
Well, then what are we waiting on?
I don't know.
All right.
Hashtag it.
Stay in the gray.
Does that work?
Stay in the gray podcast nuts. Nut bags.
Nut bags. Allison, does that work?
Yes, Allison. We need to know what you think of Stay in the Gray podcast nut bags.
Nut bags. Pre-mixed
nuts, salted or unsalted.
Or unsalted, yeah.
Or honey. A little. No, you don't like those?
No.
Well, I'm thinking of honey roasted peanuts. You don't want honey roasted?
No.
Okay, take it easy over there. Some people like honey.
No.
You need to understand that you're not all of our target demographic here.
It's my show, damn it. Half of my show.
It's your idea.
There we go. No honey. Anyway.
So, all right. So you get your nuts from Target, and you get 3 separate bags, and we go from there. But Target has, as everybody knows, been under fire from one side of things, and again, we're talking about sides, and has been praised by the other side. And in my opinion, probably a little bit, in this case, a smaller side they've been praised by overall, if you had to separate it out. And what's happened, for those of you that have not been privy to this information, is they've come out with a swimsuit line. I mean, it is summertime.
Summer, yes.
It is officially going to be June in about 3 hours. And they've come out with a swimsuit line that has extra room in female swimsuits, Trey. So nothing that we're concerned about. Or maybe you might, I'm not sure.
Like up in the top area?
No.
In the back?
No.
No?
Keep going.
So there's the top, the back,
right.
The front?
There is now what they call, I guess, extra tuck room.
What?
In the front of women's bottoms.
Is it like for the stomach? A little?
Maybe that needs to come out too.
Is that bad?
No, because we love larger women here at Stay in the Gray. But this is for penises.
What?
Yeah. You know. Think about it.
A woman's
bathing suit
is
coming with tuck, because in this society there are men who are identifying as women who haven't had their operation yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So essentially, that's what it's for. That caused enough stir, because everybody, of course, there are people that don't agree with trans lifestyles, and then people that do, and you and I have made it clear that we're kind of on the do what you like in life, and
let me back
happy.
Let me back up though, as a business, and I'd be curious to know what percentage are you making these bathing suits?
True,
for?
Like how many of them are there on the
because
the rack?
that's money Target has to pay for product. I mean, is it are you going to have like 1 or 2 bathing suits per store? I mean, I'm curious.
That's interesting because you're right. It is very, very low amount of people that are identifying as trans.
Right.
Much less that size of each one of them.
Right.
And much less men to women, versus women to men. So
strictly
et cetera.
Business side.
So you're right. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So why the need to carry it?
Right.
So my initial thought is what we talked about a few shows ago when we learned what virtue signaling was, where Target's coming out and saying, look at us, we're going to be a store that accepts everybody. Well, you can accept everybody, but it doesn't mean you have to push a line that comes up with this make-believe pouch for people. First off, I've never been in a female swimsuit. I don't know. Maybe it's comfortable. I used to wear whitey tighties, if that counts.
Maybe we should try that before we.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you need a lot of extra tuck room. I
speak for yourself.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I feel like, but either way, the point is that caused a stir, right? What happened was an even bigger stir, and this is where I come in and have an issue. Is that apparently there were also swimsuits for children.
What?
That had tuck room.
Huh.
And before everybody sitting there listening is cringing right now going, you're wrong. They've come out and they've said that's not true. I'll challenge you on this because I've done a lot of research recently since this has happened.
Were you trying them on or what?
Trying them on. I go to the H Target that I found locally. And I have gone in and made sure that I couldn't fit into the child's version.
Oh man!
And
what is this world coming to?
There have been multiple, and I don't even want to use multiple. I want to use just a lot of photographic evidence of people that have gone into Target and found these swimsuits for kids, and have shown the tags, the price tags, whatever. All of the publications that are now claiming that it's not true, that in fact was only for adults, are saying the following. A Target spokesperson is now saying that that's not true. Well, it's very easy for someone just to say, oh yeah, we didn't do that. That didn't happen. Versus some of the photographs and some of the people that are actually, posting proof.
Right.
If you want to come at me and tell me that every single picture that I've seen, and I'm talking about like 30 pictures at least from different publications and people that are claiming that all of them are photoshopped and all of them are fake. Okay, fine. But give me proof from the other side, which is what I looked for, that there was, there was never a children line that had extra tuck room. Okay, so let's pretend that there was a children's line that had extra tuck room. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't understand it. I don't.
Right.
I guess I don't understand. I mean, just the logic behind it. It's interesting to me.
Well, the logic behind it, in what way? I mean, are you talking about because it's, okay, why do we need tuck room? It's, similar to what you were saying about the adult line, but with the kids line, I guess my issue is that I don't feel like it should even be something talked about with children. You're talking about children.
Yeah.
Right? What did you want to be when you grew up? I'm not making light of this, but I am at the same time because I think that there's some validity to that. What did you want to be? A cowboy?
Yeah.
Well, you're not a cowboy
professional
right now.
baseball player,
But when you were 18, or let's say 17, before you became a legal adult, you realized you probably weren't going to be a professional baseball player.
Right.
And that wasn't going to be the best choice for you.
Right.
And this is, and again, those are light. Those are like, the punishment there or the consequences there are very low.
Right.
Compared to if you actually engage in an operation.
Right.
And you're telling me that some parents and some adults are okay with children receiving sex changes. And I have a problem with that.
That's bad.
I don't have a problem with you. You want to get a sex change when you're an adult and this is you that makes you happy. I'm all for it. I will march in the streets for people's rights to do whatever they want.
Yeah, be supportive up till that point. Yeah, as a parent.
Talk to them about it. Okay, why do you think you feel this way? All right. let's see how you feel in a couple of years.
Right. Understand it together. Yeah.
Why would a parent, first off, why would they want their child to be? Because it's very difficult in this world to be to be transgender. So I wouldn't, like we talked about being gay in the world and specifically the United States. Why would, parents don't want that, not because they don't want them to be gay, because they don't want them to deal with a hard life.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's the same. It's why would a parent be like, man, wow, my 6-year-old, I'm so proud of them for dressing like a girl when he's got a penis.
Yeah.
Let's chop it off. And I don't mean to make it as simple as that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think there's a way to be supportive, to maybe go through that process of that understanding with the child, and then at a certain point when they are quote unquote an adult, to make that decision, because that's a life altering decision. I can't imagine at 6 years old, I'm going to make a decision that's going to change my life for the rest of my life.
Or 10 or 12 or even 14 or 15.
And can you imagine the other damage that could be done? What if there's infection? What if there's anything? So, but I understand, be supportive for your child, be there for your child, understand that stuff. But
there's a difference between I'm sorry. Go ahead, Allison. I've interrupted again.
But I just don't understand the need for surgical procedures at such a young age, so.
Right. My 3-year-old liked, he loved avocados when he was 2.
Yeah.
But now he hates them.
There you go.
And again, some of you might come at me and say, well, that's just silly that you're comparing the two, but it's really not, because when you're a child, the world, this sounds silly, but the world is an avocado in a sense.
Right.
It's I like it one day, I don't one day. I mean, but literally, again, the same 3-year-old, every day rotates between whether he likes something or not.
Yeah.
The same thing. He loved kiwi the other day, and he ate it 3 days in a row, and then the last 3 days, he hates kiwi. And it's, okay, well, what happened from then to now in the last, 3 days?
Right.
Because you're 3.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, and we don't, when you get into it, because I think that most of the people, honestly, I can't imagine that we're not in the vast majority when it comes to child sex changes.
Right.
Again, being supportive, I wouldn't even go that far. Not supportive, I would just be there for the child.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. There are gender roles. There are, there is a way the society is set up. And instead of encouraging you to be, have to deal with being under the microscope, being chastised, being, singled out, say, this is what's going on here. How do you feel? And let's continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
As you grow and as you learn, ask questions. Parents, answer the questions, but don't go into the knife when the child is incapable of knowing what they like from any given day.
Right.
And that's all. And so when Target comes out and says, whether they did or didn't, I happen to believe that they did at one point have a child line for extra tuck, which again, I don't know how many children need extra tuck, but good for them. I mean, my boys, of course, would use the extra tuck, but because they're stretching it out in the bathtub.
Oh man!
But for me, it's I think it's very easy for a company to pull back their product and say we never did that. Or what would be even better, Trey, is if Target said, you know what, we're pulling this product back. We were wrong.
Yeah,
we understand. We're here. We hear you. That's it right there. We hear you. Okay, great. Instead of doubling down and say, which they didn't do, in all fairness, instead of doubling down and saying something like, "Well, too bad. Our world needs to be more accepting, and this is that. And we're going to be one of those companies." And whether it was for whatever reason, it could have been from a like you said, a business decision where they said, "Oh, we got to retract this," or from more of a practical reason, like, all right, this might just be a little overboard. Either way, they pulled back and said, all right, even though they claim they never had it, it still was the right decision to pull it. And so, again, adult bathing suits, I'm not sure that personally whether I think that's, Trey, I'm trying to put myself into the mindset of somebody that would actually go and buy that. And I know you and I would, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of somebody that needs that says, you know what, I identify as a woman, and this is very uncomfortable for me unless I have a little extra room. And they go in there, and now they have a product to buy. That's all. I'm okay with that. I want an adult that, if that makes that person happy, then great. That's what I want. People to be happy,
right? Comfortable.
But I want everybody to be happy and comfortable, and that was what I talked about when we talked about like trans in sports and things like that. I want transgender people to be happy, but I want everyone else around them to be happy as well,
right?
And if that happiness is reduced because of some sort of a catering to it or whatever else, then all of a sudden you have to kind of come together in the gray, you would say, right?
Yeah.
So that's my thought on Target. What do you think? You've been a little quiet on this subject.
Well, when it comes to the kids, sometimes I feel like since I don't have kids, do I have the right to really speak on that?
Yes, you
type
do.
Of deal?
Yes, you do. Because you have nephews and nieces, correct?
Right.
And you care about them, and you care about children as a whole. I can't imagine that you could care less when you hear about children that are harmed in school shootings or things like that. You care. And so definitely people that don't have kids need to speak up too.
But yeah, this is something interesting. I'm curious to see how this pans out. Like I said, I just can't imagine a product for such a small percentage of people, making that big a decision. I don't know. It's curious. I'm curious to see how this. Yeah. I'm curious to see if they make money off the deal, or if they make money on just the fact that they're backing the whole LGBTQ community.
That's what it is.
So,
in my opinion,
did they need to make a move to show their support for that group? I don't know, but part of me also thinks that making moves like this kind of puts spotlights on this group, showing that they're different in a way. It's like, let me do something to continue to point that you're different. Let me put a product out there that shows that you're different, just so I can, like I'm being a partner. So I don't know, maybe is this really the right thing to do? Because it's constantly putting a spotlight that this is a different group as opposed to this is just the norm. So did that make sense? I don't know.
It makes total sense. In fact, I was doing my best not to interrupt. So I waited because you were going to say almost what I was going to say, which is, so be proud. I'm kidding. Basically what it is that Target, in my opinion, is going, hey, if we do this, it's not just about the swimsuits. It's about the fact that Target as a whole is now this, all-loving, all-inclusive, woke, if you will, and that everybody on that side of things that's important to in a business, they're going to flock in for other products. It's not just it's not about the swimsuit. There may be two of those things in the entire store, but guess what? Whoever comes in and says, you know what, Target was willing to do this, I'm going to go get whatever from there instead of Walmart or instead of the other competition. Kmart, are they still around?
No.
At
least not around here.
I haven't seen a Kmart in forever. They're sitting there going, dang, we missed out on everything. But so that's my opinion, and that share, I think that aligns with yours.
Yeah.
Which is this separates them. In what way? A lot of people think it's not good, and a lot of people might think it is, and I think that's what they're kind of testing right now. They're going, what do we do? Because, man, we definitely got our name out there, but their name was already out there. I think Target wasn't something that needed to, the whole like any press is good press. Right. I don't think Target needed that. Target did pretty well without that. It'd be different if a mid-sized company or a mom and pop company kind of tried to do something like this and fired off, and then their business grew because of just flat out recognition.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's going on. Let me bring it up real fast because this kind of ties in, and it's really interesting because we're talking about groups that are, a lot of people are saying are isolated, that are treated poorly, that are, that are discriminated against. And there's a group that has come out now recently. I'm trying to find out how recently. I don't think it's that recent, but they've come out, and it's a group of gay people, Trey. And they're called Gays Against Groomers. So this group came out and they said, in fact, it's not about dogs, Trey.
Oh.
They came out and they said, we are going to be an organization of gay people who oppose this recent trend, and I'm going to read this verbatim, of indoctrinating, sexualizing, and medicalizing children under the guise of LGBTQIA plus. What I get from that is it's all about children.
Yeah, dumb that down for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, it's basically gay is fine, everything's fine, but we are not supportive of all this going on with kids. Sex changes, basically, using children as this, hey, everybody needs to be, if they want to be a woman, if they want to be a different sex, they can be different sex. Different, gender roles are bad. And these gay people are going, look, it's one thing to be gay, or when you're an adult, you can decide that you want to transition. That's fine, but leave the kids out of it.
Right. That seems fair.
And I respect that completely. But, of course, you dig a little deeper in this organization, and you get one side of things that is calling them all sorts of derogatory terms. They call them the alt-right. There was one publication that said, and I quote, "They are extremists and Trump operatives."
What?
So immediately they've pinned Donald Trump, who last I checked wasn't our president anymore.
Right.
I know he's running again, but he's not our president. So they're labeling it extremists and whatever. And this is a group of gay people. First off, 10 years ago, they were the ones that were being chastised and isolated and under the microscope.
Wow.
And now they're sitting there ready to turn on them because the next tier of minorities is now, the gays are out, and now it's the trans children.
Yeah.
And so I need to look more into this gays against groomers, because from what I'm seeing on what they're claiming and their whole mission, if you will, it's legitimate. If you agree with what I think you and I have come out and said, which is we don't really think the children need to be involved in this.
Right.
I will go ahead and mention right now, and I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. Some people came at me and they said, you guys call yourselves Stay in the Gray, and you guys pride yourselves in remaining neutral. Why are some of their shows kind of leaning certain ways with your opinions? And I said, whoa, stop right there. If you think that people shouldn't have their own opinions, then that's you've got it all wrong. That's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying at Stay in the Gray is that you need to come together and form opinions based on experience, based on listening to each other, based on all sides. And then once you establish an opinion and a position, then you can share that.
Discuss it
issue by issue, not aligning on one side of this proverbial, line. You're either on all these issues or you're on all these issues.
Right.
And that's the problem. So don't tell me I'm not allowed to have an opinion because I'm claiming that we're staying in the gray. We are in the gray. If you have a reason that children should wear bathing suits,
yeah,
let us know. I'm willing to listen to it. But so far, I've formed an opinion, and it's not that children need a tuck whatever bathing suit. So that I wanted to make sure I got that clear when we talk about this. As of now, I'm reading about gays against groomers, and I seem to think that they have a legitimate mission statement, if you will, on their information.
Right.
And if you don't, that's fair. But tell me why, and don't just use a left wing article that has labeled them something that they're claiming they're not, or don't come at me with a right wing article saying gays against groomers is amazing because this and this. Look at Gays Against Groomers website.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say we shouldn't throw kids into categories based on certain actions as they grow up, as they learn things that they like, that they dislike. We should just automatically throw them in a specific category just because we want to be sensitive to certain things. And I think that's what they're saying is like, when they become an adult, maybe they'll have those feelings that they knew they were gay all along. And then now they get to make those decisions as an adult, what they want to do, transition, who they want to love, all that kind of good stuff. That's awesome. Do that. But I don't think we should throw kids into certain categories because they do certain things as they grow up and learn about life. So,
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's I think what you just said is great. And I think that, maybe being gay, you can maybe realize that, is a late teen or a mid-teen, like a 15, 16.
Right.
I hate to say that you can't any earlier than that. Maybe you do know, but take your time with it. You're technically a kid. Live life, experience things, talk to people,
right.
Learn. And I know that's easier said than done now that we're sitting here as an adult.
Yeah.
If you told me at 15 just to relax and take it all in, I'd be like, whatever, I know I know everything.
Yeah.
And so I think that's it. But that's the point. Be there for these kids.
Right.
Talk to them about it. Answer questions as best you can without saying being gay sucks or, trans are creeps. And, that's not going to help anything.
No.
That's just going to keep them from being scared to death to say anything about it.
Right, right.
But also don't sit there and go the other side of it, which is, oh, you're 11 and you want to be a girl. Let's take your penis away from you.
You must be gay now. Yeah.
Trans. You must be trans.
You must be trans. Yeah.
And that's, that's a lot for kids. And I think I think the kids thing is really sensitive, and that's why I wanted to talk about Target. That's why I wanted to bring up the Gays Against Groomers. Look into this group. I mean, I tell me I'm wrong. I would love to know why I'm wrong. That there's a group of gay people who are just all they're basically saying is leave the kids out of it.
Seems easy enough.
And I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
So write us at Trey at Stay in the Gray. Write us at stuff@stayinthegraypodcast.com or go. Better yet, go on our social media. We're on that all the time. We want to interact. We're trying to get, more people to talk and to come out of the woodwork a little bit. There are way more of you listening than are interacting on social media, and I have proof of that. So
talk to us.
And we're about to have a lot of cool stuff to give to you. Some free, maybe some, what are we thinking, Trey? Maybe some pens, maybe some coasters.
Some
T-shirts. We got all kinds of stuff coming. We're gonna take over. In fact, currently, I think we have some people that we know very well that have taken some of our business cards and are spreading it around the world.
Yeah, we are.
I think they're going to New York and back over to Europe, certain areas, and we've asked them to do what they feel is necessary. We've already received some photographs back that have shown some of our biggest ambassadors leaving cards in bars and
we
putting
appreciate
stickers on poles. And tell you what, that's all we may need to do is just hire people to put stickers all over the world.
That'd be awesome.
But so that's the Target talk. What do you think? Anything to add to that?
Not to that part, no.
Not to the Target talk. Okay, fair enough. I just feel like tonight I've even more so like dominated the main topic, which was Target and children and trans.
Yeah.
And so you're pretty much just cut and dry. Let's leave children out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I'm not gonna argue with you. Tell you to tell you to talk more. What else you got? You got anything else for me tonight?
I've got something that's been bugging me.
This is what I want to hear.
So I got back into the gym. And I started noticing
back into the gym.
Back into the gym. Started working out again.
Oh, how long it had been since you worked out? A week?
It'd been a couple months before I got back into it. So back into the gym, I was riding the bike way too much. So I got back into the gym, riding the weights. I've started noticing a trend, a fashion trend with the ladies.
So the ladies,
our lady listeners, help me understand this. So
what do you wear into the gym, Trey?
I'm very basic shorts and a sleeveless shirt, or if it's cold, I'll throw a long sleeve shirt on.
It's cold in the gym.
It's a little chilly.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
But I started noticing these women. Back in our day, they wore the tights, and you'd see the little cutoff little tops that they would wear, little crop tops. Show the belly button a little bit, kind of cute. Wearing the little yoga pants type deal. It was cute, right? Well, for some reason, the yoga pants are starting to get a little bit further and further up. So I know what you mean. Yeah.
So
the crop tops now barely cover the boobs, but the pants
right in line with the
come
the
up
belt.
to about the ribs now.
Right.
So the pants are getting further up. The crop top's getting shorter.
Right.
I'm trying to understand this dynamic.
Let me explain this, Trey. My wife has explained this to me.
Okay, good.
There's really not a lot to it. It's just simply trends. And
Okay.
they come and go, and apparently the higher pant line
That's a trend right
is
now.
a trend, and that's in jeans, that's in any kind of pant line. I'm not a fan, and I've told her that, and that doesn't matter to her because it's the trend that matters, apparently, to these women. When they dress for each other, not for us.
That makes sense.
I would like to say when we dress for them, but I don't know if that's always true either.
Well, I'm wondering the way this trend is going, Ryan.
Yeah,
At some point,
is it?
the boobs are going to be tucked
Yeah.
into the pants, and they're going to be wearing
Yeah.
a bandana.
That's all they need are pants.
Just it's
You
going to
don't
be
need-
pants over the boobs, bandana instead of a crop top.
Well,
you know,
the pants would essentially at that point be just like a long dress that goes up over
over the
except it's pants.
it's pants. So that kind of. I keep seeing the pants getting higher, the crop tops getting shorter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't understand this dynamic here going.
I'm not a fan of the high pant line. I mean, I'll admit it. And again, ladies, let us know. Go on social media.
Tell me why.
Pictures if you must of why high pant lines look better. But Trey and I are we were in high school and in middle school in the 90s. And for me, the 90s trend, if you remember, Trey, we're just talking fashion here. We're not talking creepy guy stuff. This
Right.
is just fashion, right, buddy?
Right.
Was the hip hugger look where
Yes.
where the jeans were like way low,
Yeah.
and they were over the hips,
Yeah.
and they were basically a divider from the torso and the lower body,
Loved it.
and to me that made sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a pant line that's above your belly button. That's your torso.
It's
That's
ridiculous.
supposed to be the upper body, right?
Right.
So you wear upper body clothing.
I literally saw a woman the other day that was so high she was really gnawing on the top of her pants while she was working out. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Like the pants that have the little tie, the
Little drawstring? Yeah.
drawstring, and they're just
chewing
gnawing
on
the
it,
drawstring.
yeah.
And
It's that
whatever.
high, Ryan.
Yeah, my 3-year-old does also gnaw on the drawstring. No,
Yeah.
my 1-year-old. I get them mixed up. Whatever.
They're both gnawing on stuff.
They're both gnawing
Again,
on
is
stuff.
that's
what I mean. What if you were sitting there gnawing on your drawstring? I would have an issue with it. But if my kids were, I'd be like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Write it down.
So yeah.
Write it down. It's going to go in the book. We're going to do an
In the
anthology. We're going to do an anthology about. My question in that regard, though, is if you're 3 years old and you can do something and it's cute and you get away with it, it might not even be cute, but it's acceptable. And then you're, middle-aged or an adult and you can't get away with it. Is there a turning point back?
When
You are delirious,
It's cute again.
and it's cute again. Oh, like you know what? When you're in your mid-90s and you let out a toot, that's it's kind of like
Grandpa.
Bernard. He just kind of like you just silly, and or if he accidentally smacks a woman on her bottom, like okay, he's cute. He just that was his generation. You could smack a woman on the bottom.
okay. Oh my God.
If he was taking a shower in a self-assisted facility, or not an assisted facility
Right.
where he had a nurse, and he started just kind of flicking,
Tugging at his.
does that become like, oh wow, he's just that's
So when does it revert back?
right? That's my question.
60s, 70s,
And some people may say, you know what? No, never.
Never.
This Grandpa Bernard is not cute.
I'm gonna go home and flick mine right now.
And you would, if anybody knew that you were doing that, would be unacceptable because you are neither 3 nor 90.
Or 90.
So that's my question: is when does it revert back? But anyway, let's hold off.
We'll figure
let's
that
talk about this on when we go through our next segment. But that was a good question. All right, so the last thing, Trey, before we go and exit yet another fantastic show,
Right.
in my opinion, so much wisdom comes from these shows. And so we talked about Indian people dying on trains. We talked about killer whales attacking boats.
That was interesting.
We talked about extra tuck room in
Extra
kids'
tuck.
clothing. We talked
Tuck
about,
roll.
you know what? More people than just a few think I interrupt. And that's an eye. We talked about a new employee we have on staff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end with something quick and something simple
That's how most of my dates
yeah, as we've heard.
go.
And by the way, if you tuned in tonight, excited, anticipating another Trey tale, don't worry. I'm pretty sure that we won't go much longer without another one because let me tell you from what the outline that I've been given, if you will, of these stories, you won't want to miss it. But what I want to say to you guys, to the listeners, and from the bottom of my heart, to use a cliched phrase, is I don't want to ask too much of you, and I don't want to demand it because I don't want to seem like we're needy. But in social media, in the social media world, what I've come to learn with my vast research skills is that every little bit helps.
Right.
Every like, any kind of comments, all of that helps. Comment and tell us that, Ryan, you sounded like an idiot on that part, or, Trey, you really do sound gay, or whatever. But just give us something. Give us likes. Give us. You don't have to share if you don't want to, or anything like that. But just a little bit here and there would help, because what I've learned is that every type of engagement really spreads our social media, which in turn spreads our listeners. And the goal here is to reach as many people as possible with this wisdom we have.
My goal is to touch as many people as I can.
You want to touch. You're hoping to touch lives.
Not
lives.
Yeah.
Lives.
Yeah.
Trey wants to touch a lot of people, and I hope to touch their lives. And we want to go from there. But anything you can do, as we look at you guys as our base, our foundation that we started with, and anything you can do, things are going well, but you guys can make it even better.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate everything you do. So on that note, man, I can't think of anything else tonight, Trey. What are you thinking? Is there anything you want to share that's happened in the last couple of days that you want to get off your chest?
No, I'm good.
You heard it from my man, Trey. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Later.
Love you.
Ryan, have you ever done that thing where you tuck your junk in between your legs and kind of walk around like you're a female?
Oh, I'm so glad you have as well.
I mean, I haven't. No.
Me neither.